Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video. I thought I'll have a sit down chat with you guys because, you know, I felt it in my spirit. There's been so much stuff on my heart, so much stuff on my mind, and you know, I thought I'm gonna come and do a sit down and chat video with you all. I wanted to do like a video with me cooking, but you know, tell you the truth guys, at the moment I'm not really in the frame of mind, and looks are deceiving. Even though I'm gonna cook, it's just something I just want to quickly do and be done with it if I get round to it. That's all right. I was hoping to do some chicken soup today guys, but you know, recently I just been like up down. That's how I feel, you know. I'm just gonna share how I feel. Up down, round and round, left right, you know, just like that, like a merry-go-round. So I just been sitting in it and doing the best I can through it, you know. It's so weird. The other day I had a really bad meltdown, like melt right down, you know. You oftentimes hear me share, most of the times guys, when I feel like I'm just doing everything alone and I can't cope, I'm getting older, you know, it's just a lot. This year I'm going to be 50, and this year is kind of like, for lost of better words, a weird one for me. A weird one, you know. Like I said, it's a bit up, it's a bit down, it's a bit like, yeah, kind of thing. So, yeah, after coming back from the trip from Italy, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know, there's things I haven't shared, but, you know, it's my daughter's exam season as well, so I think I'm a bit tense and uptight in some ways. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to do the Italy thing for her, give her it for her birthday, and then her transition into her exams and stuff. And, you know, come back, and even when we were coming back, it wasn't as smooth as we were going, because, you know, I was so judgmental when I got to the airport and see some people coming back and the way they were dressed, like, you know, without any coat and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you know, my days, you know, because they come back late at night, early hours in the morning, coatless, and I'm just looking at them sideways. But ask me guys, ask me if the same thing never reached me. Even though I had my coat, I had to give it to Tilly, and you know, it was just rough coming back. It was rough. It was like, you know, those of you out there, you know, some people get it right and they go in a high and they probably come back in a high and all is well. But some people go on holiday and they're in a high and they go and it's all aesthetically pleasing, and then when they come back it's like you've been dragged you've been dragged to the gutter. Oftentimes feel like that when I travel and go to Jamaica. When I'm going, it's just all vibes and stuff, but when I'm coming back, sometimes your mood is down, and the list goes on. So it was a bit like that coming back from Italy. But any road, I was like, you know, in my grateful bag. I was really happy. I was really pleased. I was really thankful that I was able to pull it off and accomplish it. And, you know, Tilly had a great time as well and stuff like that. And I just got back and just thought, you know, I just continue with how life was. And then my Tilly, you know, the stress of financially is always on a mom's mind. And, you know, like I said, being the main person that does all the housework, this, that, the list goes on. So I thought, you know, we had a little break. We're going to come back and we're going to sit and we're just going to get on with everything that we need to get on. You know, this was in my mind. Tilly has other plans, because one day she just got up and after school as normal, sometimes you see her bag bulging, but you're not really taking too much notice to that, because my days, sometimes if I have to be taking notice of so much that I'm doing already, plus other things, it's just going to be a lot. Long story short, when Tilly's meant to come back from school, no sign of her. Then she messaged me and said she was at her friend's house and she's going to come home shortly. I was like, okay, cool. I want to say this was on a Friday. But nevertheless, she never told me anything about going to the friend's house prior before she left the house for school. And that's not unusual because sometimes when she messaged me, because this is what I tried to instill in her and give her a little bit more leeway. Once she kind of say where she's at, I kind of like try to work along with it, even though I try to also tell her, you know, tell me before you leave these things, because it puts me in a better frame of mind and it makes me know that, okay, she's not going to be back straight away from school, da-da-da-da. Anyway, so this particular Friday now, she's gone off about her business and, but she messaged me. So I was like, okay, cool. But when I'm seeing 8, 9 o'clock and she hasn't been back home, I'm starting getting a bit suspicious. So I start messaging her now, Tilly, make your way home, as I normally do. And no response. Then I started clicking. Anyway, long story short, there was something keeping in a couple of towns up. And I found out that because Deshane left the home in the evening hours saying he's going out. When I asked him, oh, who are you going out with it? He kind of froze. So I'm like, that's not, that's a bit unusual. Normally, you know, you said going out with his friends, da-da-da-da. Anyway, the reason I mentioned that is because the story kind of collide. Because I start realizing that wherever he is, Tilly is going there as well. And when I messaged her, she replied that she's in St. Ives. And she said where she was. And I was like, you know how mom gets. Father divine, da-da-da-da-da. And that's all I'm thinking. This girl has left out for school and now she a ghetto girl. That's what I'm thinking, people. In my mind, I'm thinking you a ghetto girl, you a pack bag, go to school and then know you gone off somewhere else. So I'm ticked. I am ticked. And I've even forgotten to tell you that I had a little meltdown the day prior in regards to her. Because I'm trying my best not to put too much stress on her. Because like I said, it's her season for exams. So I'm overdoing anything that I could kind of like say, oh, get a bit of help with her. I'm taking everything on now. But the day prior to that, I asked her to put a couple of white shirts to just wash. So they can have it for the morning. Because, you know, I go through phase. Some days I am great and I can do everything, but because I'm doing everything, you've got times when my mood is low and I don't even want to move. So I asked her to put a couple of white shirts in the washing machine. And when she came and said to me, oh, Mom, you know, I'm moving stuff from the washing machine to the dryer. My head flipped, people. I don't know what kind of mood I was in, but my head flipped. My head I don't know if this is a 360, I don't know. But my head went. And I started effing and blinding. I effed and I blind. I ain't cussed so much. I don't think in my whole lifetime of living, the way I cuss. Just like swearing, my head went. And I just was, because I just could not believe it. I'm thinking, you know, you're a girl in my house. This dryer has not been used for a whole over 6 months, going into a year. I haven't used this dryer. And I've decided, because every time the dryer goes bad, like I want to chuck it out, or I think it's finished because I'm drying every day. This time I decided I'm not going to make no stress about it. I'm not going to be telling Angelo Dad nothing about it, because every time, back to back, year after year, anytime the dryer weight go AWOL, they bringing him up, telling him, you know, I can't go any further because there's no dryer and you need to get one in the house. I thought, you know what, Rose, the man is doing enough. Just do what you need to do to survive. So I've been surviving without my dryer for like some 6+ months. And I'm thinking everybody in the house should know, let alone my daughter, so she can mention in dryer. And I did leave some sheet in the dryer for time after that, hoping to dump them, and which I haven't dumped. So when she said that, my head flipped because I'm thinking, so you're taking clothes from the washing machine to put in this dryer that's been done for how long, with these sheets in it for how long, and that triggered me to have a meltdown. So that was the day prior to her talking about oh mom, actually I went to St. Ives. So I was ticked. I was thinking, how ungrateful is this girl? No matter how I try, I could strip naked and walk down the street. It wouldn't be no difference to these people. And I'm just thinking, they obviously I'm not in their head. They're children, so they're not seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm thinking how selfish, all the sacrifice I'm making, just everything coming over. So I was there, and I was on the phone with one of my friends, and in the end, Deshane came home first. How many hours in the night? Then I said, where is Tilly? Tilly went off with the friend. She's coming back with her friend. And I started having a go at Deshane, saying he knew that she was going to do something like that. He hasn't said anything. What about him being her sister's keeper? Because he was banging on about if Tilly is talking to anybody, what he'd go and say. And I said, what's the need for that? Like having a little boyfriend and all of this. And now she's left school for a whole day and gone off whole night. And you don't think, regardless, you want to stay out of the business of it, you should be telling me or telling her after, say, make sure you tell mom, because I'm not going to be part of this or whatever. Because there'd been incident before that caused a whole rupture. That it was a situation similar where I think that he shouldn't be getting involved in any way to try and make my situation worse. So I was telling him off, and anyway, he told me a few chosen words and went off to his room as it's not his business. And I'm thinking, ain't your business? You ain't learned from last time. But anyway, when she finally racked up now in some big vehicle with the friend family, because one thing I like to quickly point out, guys, in this Penzance, majority of person, they have their life, this is where they've been, they have their family, and I do appreciate a lot of things that comes from that, in terms of when they have their good friends, Well, and I'll more blame Tilly. What about your home and the what your mom got going on, and how she teach you to approach stuff. I was more upset with her. But, I could see that it was like a couple of ladies, and plus probably the friend that came out the car and let her out and da-da-da-da. But I was ticked. Anyway, when she come in, I'm just there behind her, just in her face, going on. I'm thinking, I'm going to terrorize you tonight. Because if I'm there trying to save you from yourself because of this season that you're in, and you don't want to save yourself, tonight you have. So I was there. So it kind of spiraled out of hand, long story short. And I wasn't feeling blessed, pleased about myself. And she was going off and telling me things that I was saying the day before when I flipped out about the dryer situation. I'm thinking to myself, you're in this house and as a girl, and you don't know that dryer is packed up for how long. This is how the reality of the fact how much I'm doing in the house for her not to even realize that this dryer ain't working. And, because you're not really thinking straight. Anyway, I went for a whole period of taking her phone off her, and you can see the beauty in that, because she come back to her sense. She got her phone now, but so it's just like, at this moment, I feel like I'm transitioning because I'm feeling guilty and stuff like that. But I'm learning, every day for me is a learning process, and I'll regroup and I'll rethink things. And, there's so much I feel like I've put off in my life just to try and transition in them, in my mind. But obviously, they have their own feeling, their own mind, their own life, and how they want to, and they want to live in the moment. But I'm just trying to teach her, do things right. And it's not everything that's going on you need to be there. In Jamaica, they have the saying to say, it's not every jump and a knock you have to did it and knock it too, kind of thing. So all of that. And, sometimes I just sit there and I was just meditating about the fact when my head flipped. And I know that I keep realizing that these are warning signs, so to speak, of the backlog of stuff I'm holding in, and the overworkedness and just the whole of it. Just trying to juggle and people not meeting me halfway, the selfishness sometimes with my children, the list goes on. So, I'm just having food for thoughts and, just realizing as well as I always have, but even more that, human beings, we're not perfect. We're going to have glitch. We're going to slip up. It's just how we move on from it, how we go about stuff, our thoughts on it, and always trying to keep going, keep trying, because that kind of like made me like stagnant with like the whole other stuff that's in my mind and thoughts. And even to the point where I'm in a season where, because of my health, I was getting a benefit that was helping me a lot. And when it comes down to now, they decided they're not going to renew the benefit. And, on one hand, I'm thinking, Rose, yeah, whatever, I'm transitioning because there's lots of things to give God thanks for, Tilly's 10, 16, your children are growing. The youngest is Angelo now. So you come out a lot, look at the bright side, look at the positive side. So just being at home, meditating and thinking about that and thinking that, maybe it's time for me to try and transition, even though I'd like to say to the PIP people and the government people, it's like you have to tell lies. If I have to take medication for my arthritis or when I'm going through difficult times or my fibroids, whatever's acting up my back, it doesn't mean that you're not going through these things. Mental health, it's a mess. It's like they want to sit there and I just feel like sometimes it's forced and it's a whole lot of lie, because it's not every day you're going to be going through things, but it doesn't mean that you're healthy enough to be there, depending on your circumstances, to go take on a whole nother role job-wise when you're already struggling. So I'm looking at them sideways anyway, because these are things that make, sometimes you hear some cases that's really bad, really negative when people, because I'm telling you, I had that interview over the phone and I was at my mom's and I just knew in my spirit that it didn't went well, because I was about to sit there and make up no story. And, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the issues are still there. Even if it's underlined, it's still there. So, that didn't turn out in my favor. But there's another side of me thinking, you know what? I think God is calling me towards something else. So leave these people with their benefits. Let them stay there. But I just know that in this world, there's a lot of people in lacking, because some human being is just going to sit there and on the phone talking to you, hearing what you said. And if you don't say you're about to kill yourself, they're not going to be of no help. It's on the lines of that. Even though I'm telling you, there's times where in a split second, things can just happen because of how pressures of life and all the things that's going on with you is happening. But saying all of this, like I said, guys, I am just going to be taking one day at a time and be grateful for all the new stuff that's happening in terms of my children growing up and transitioning, even though some of them is still like really struggling, like my eldest son at the moment. I don't want to even go into that, but he has his times when he's really struggling, and this is one of the seasons. So even that in itself, more than anything, sometimes wears me down, and I'm not my creative self, because I'm there watching and mindful, especially when he doesn't want to listen or don't really want to talk and all of these things. But as soon as he's ready, he's off. But I say all of this to say, I'm still in my grateful bag. I'm still thankful. I'm still just looking out my eye and just keep pushing on and just giving God thanks. You know, this morning I had such a positive morning, such a positive devotion. Guys, look at my camera. It's going to cut off. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, guys. Keep with me. Bear with me. I am trying to each day to come and do better and to show up even for you guys as my viewers, as my subscribers, as my audience and stuff like that. You know, I'm really, really, you know, aware that maybe I'm not putting out my videos as much as I should, and the formats that I need to be doing to, you know, make sure that me and my subscribers, me and my audience is connected. You know, every day is a new day, guys, and I am in my grateful bag, and I know one person that does not let me down ever is God. And, you know, I'm still so hopeful, still so thankful, and thanks to all of you guys, you know, that always kind of like leave a comment, add a thumbs up, you know, keep doing all of. Guys, my battery died on my camera or my memory, one of the two. I think it might be my memory is full before I entered out the video. So I'm using my phone, so sorry for the change up in the way things are looking. But yeah, so it's just like, seems like a whole different bunch of narratives that's happening that I'm trying to process. And also, you know, I've been just meditating and thinking a lot. Who do I want to show up as, you know? Who do I want to show up as? What version of myself? But then, like, the other day I was in London. I just had my hair freshly done, and, you know, I was just looking all working class, guys. Like, you know, really looking good. So I literally like just start thinking, the girl that I'm looking like in that video, that picture, that's the girl, that's who I want to show up as, you know, every day. But is that reality? Is that reality? No, that ain't reality. You know, it's not every day you gonna get up and be polished, and you know, and sometimes you got things to say, and just by trying to find that girl and that version of yourself to show up, you probably too few and far between, you know. So those are the things I've been thinking and processing, and just thinking to myself, you know what, Rose, you're gonna have to show up, you know, in all your different versions. And yes, you know, me just having a meltdown and stuff, sometimes, I mean, in that particular moment, a couple of times, it felt uncontrollable, you know, because I think I'm battling too much stuff battling in too much stuff, and trying to be all perfect. But is that really reality? There's so much different things that's been coming to my mind, and things that I've been processing in my downtime. And, you know, the reality of it is, reality is, you're gonna have the bad days and stuff. It's not everything you have to be banging on about or talk about, or, you know, you're not gonna be perfect and stuff. Yeah, you want to stay good, you want to stay on the right track, so to speak, but don't force yourself too much, that when you have a glitch, it just messes you up so much, because God knows your heart. And the reality is, you know, I'm not on a stage. Who am I performing for? I don't want to go back to my old ways, because those are the things I transition through. Those are things I work very hard on changing, and just to like have more patience, have more manners, and just don't do things willy-nilly because I can do it. Think it through first. You know, all of these things been coming through my mind. Just don't be reckless. Don't be abusing yourself. All different types of things. I don't want to be going back to that life when, one, I did not know better. That's a lot of part of it. Two, um, you're just young and spirited and, you know, do things without thinking, or you're fearless. So you just, you know, the list goes on. You guys must catch my drift by now. But just like not being too hard on myself now in the present time that I'm in. You know, even sometimes when I don't end up like going to church, it just wears on me so much, you know, but just having a balance, I would say, try to have a balance, you know, don't go backwards, you know, go forwards, but with a balance. Have some downtimes. Have, you know, yesterday I was chatting to one of my sons, and, you know, he just saying, you know, Mom, it's not everything everybody going to be able to go to and this, that, all at once. And that is so true, because sometimes you try to force things, or, you know, by the time you have to take everybody, just so much. So just doing things in bite size, taking a couple of here, a couple of there, and, you know, the times when we can all go, we all go and do whatever we're doing. But it's not by force, because sometimes when you're forcing, or you're feeling guilty and stuff like that, it just puts so much pressure on the situation. And so I'm just like transitioning through those feelings and learning, and, you know, my new way of things that's like coming up in front of me, and how to pivot through them, and not feeling defeated, and not, you know, just always trying to get up. And when you have to rest, you have to rest, and but you just have to keep moving forwards. And, you know, just like want to try and keep elevating myself and stuff like that. But yeah, you beautiful people, just like knowing, you know, I know so much of you guys out there look up to me, and, you know, want to see me and want to hear what's happening, and want to have those little chats or Bible studies, and etc, etc. And, you know, me not showing up, so to speak, it's not the best. But yeah, I'm hoping to.